Hello and welcome to the Believe Show. I'm delighted that today we are interviewing Ilene Schaffer. Hi, Ilene.
Hello, great to see you.
Super to see you. So you all probably already recognize Ilene, and if you don't, if you are here for the first time, then click through to our other links and see her talking about walking, about the 1-2-3 approach to your natural resources, about this game changer approach for the year 2020. So we have lots of awesome Ilene content here, and I will give you a link to link through to others of it. And today we are talking about something that is on a few of our minds, and specifically on Ilene's mind, which is accountability. Hi, Ilene.
Hello. You always say to me, you always like accountability. So I'm so glad we're getting to talk with our audience about that.
You do. It's funny. Ilene and I talk offline at our coaching sessions, our best practices sessions, and every once in a while, just accountability keeps coming up. So let's even start with that. What are some things, Ilene, that you're seeing either with clients that you work with in coaching or colleagues in this time, in these times, in these weeks that leads you to just think about accountability?
Absolutely. I see it for myself personally as well as my clients. And it doesn't matter what the client's working on, but that one missing piece is often a lack of accountability. And I feel like maybe given that many of us are working from home, and some were working from home before COVID, of course, but even my clients who worked from home before COVID are still finding that sometimes motivation can get a little bit low, focus can get low, their priorities are like, what are my priorities? And so it's kind of getting that grounding and that focus again that people are craving. And so you could set up every beautiful SMART goal and have it be exactly the way it's supposed to be, and they still don't happen. So that's what I'm noticing.
So here's what I'm hearing you say. I'm hearing you say it can apply to almost anything. If we are unfocused in some area, if we're just kind of not getting things done, maybe a possible thing to consider is to bring in more accountability.
100%. And what I think of it as almost if you imagine a stove burner that has a flame. And if you have, let's say you're working for a company and you have a deadline, that flame is high because if you miss that deadline, you might get fired. That's a pretty powerful flame. Now, let's say you're thinking, oh, I just really need to get in better health. The flame might not be as high. Yes, you could. It'd be nice to be healthier, but you're not going to miss a paycheck or it's not life or death. So the flame might be a little lower. Let's take it even lower. You feel like, oh, I want to be more present on LinkedIn. I want to start posting more. Well, there really isn't a huge flame for that. So it's almost like no flame at all, but it's something you really want. And so accountability can start to turn up that flame when you don't have a structure in there that's powerful enough to get you to move forward.
That is fun. I can imagine all three situations that you've mentioned, the high flame, the medium flame, and the super low flame, where you really do kind of want to start taking action anyway. I'm with you. Take us down this road. So let's say somebody wants to bring more accountability into their life. What are some things they can do?
Absolutely. I think of it as three different methods that you can do. One is yourself. So, and I'll go back to each one, but having accountability for yourself. You don't bring in any other players. It's you creating your own accountability. The second is a partner. That partner can be in the form of a coach. Obviously, Senya and I are huge proponents of bringing in coaches bringing in a coach to help you with life coaching and help you with executive coaching, leadership moving forward in life. So that's bringing in a coach that will help you with accountability. You can also bring in a partner, an individual. It could be a friend. It could be someone you don't even know, but somebody else who holds you accountable. So that's the second one. So you've got yourself and then you've got a person, whether it's a coach or somebody in your life. The third one is group accountability. So that you can bring together a group. It could be a group of 2 other people. It could be 4 or 5 other people. So there's different forms to do it. And I could go over, do you want me to go over right now kind of what those might look like?
Please do, or give us some examples from the self and then the partner and the group accountability group. That sounds great, please.
Absolutely. And it was so funny. This morning I popped on and somebody had mentioned me in their Instagram post. So I thought, what did they mention? Sure enough, I couldn't have scripted it better for this morning. It's a client of mine who she has her own, she's a nutritionist. And so she has a private practice helping people with nutrition. She's always worked from home. However, recently, with the COVID and everything, her motivation has started to plummet. And she in this post, she wrote, I have lunch and I kind of watch a show during lunch, and the one show became 2 shows. And next thing I know, my work is back there and it's, oh my gosh, it's 5 o'clock. And so her and I have worked together, and she writes through this whole thing, and she talked about being coached around this. And she said her whole life has changed because what she did is she needed a fire or a carrot. She needed something to keep herself accountable. So what she put in place was things at 5 o'clock and after that she can do that she wanted so badly. But if her day did not look like whatever she wanted it structured to look like, she didn't get to do the post 5 activities. And so that's putting it on herself. So it was everything from having a dance party. She loves dancing. So after 5, she could have a dance party. After 5, she could flip on the TV. After 5, she could scroll through Instagram. After 5, she had specific things she would do with her husband on Monday and Wednesday. This was their night to do X, Y, and Z. But she had to get through her day so she could celebrate after. So that's
what happens if she didn't? What happens on days when she didn't?
What happens on days when she didn't? She doesn't do those things. So she just kind of, she can't flip on the TV if it's a TV day. She doesn't dance if it's a dance day. So there's a built-in, I hate the word penalty, but almost a penalty, a consequence. There's consequences to us not following through with what we want. Mm-hmm. But it was that carrot that she was like, and she said what happened is during COVID time, this is what she had written in her post, there's so much out there about be kind to yourself, be gentle, which is so true. And it can get you into trouble because she said she was being so kind and gentle to herself that then she felt really depressed and disappointed in herself by the end of the day. So she said she needed to figure out what that kindness looks like and still maintain motivation. So now she's on fire. She's so excited.
Ilene, that's such a cool observation about the kindness versus discipline factor, because we also, in coaching, we often talk about something like polarity thinking. I want both to do my passion in work, and I also want to get a good compensation. And so here as well, I want to do the things that are kind to my body, but I also want to get stuff done, just get stuff done. And I love this idea of, yes, you do want to do both. And how can you balance it? So you are doing, so you're not just pretending the world is the same as it was a year ago. You are addressing that kindness, but you're also not turning into a person you don't want to turn into.
Absolutely. And anything to the extreme. If you're overly kind, so you're on the couch all day, how does that make you feel? It doesn't make you feel the way you hope. And so how it's that and. We always talk about in coaching, how do we move away from or and replace that with an and?
So these are some examples of the self. These are some examples of what you can do for yourself. And it sounds like really bucket when you're going to be accountable and deliver and when you're going to get a reward for delivering. Is that accurate?
Absolutely. Spot on. And these were rewards that were non-monetary rewards. I have clients who will sometimes treat themselves to a gift. If I can do X amount of, or if I can 5 days a week, or I'm sorry, 5 days out of the 7-day week, complete this, I get to treat myself to that. So there's all different ways you can play with yourself depending on your personality and what will motivate you. So that's the self. The coach partner one. So the coach is an obvious one. So I don't need to go into that. You hire somebody who helps you with what do you want your life to look like? What do you want your work to look like? What's that missing piece? Oh, you want to get X, Y, or Z done. This is your goal. So the coach works with you on accountability and setting yourself up to be successful in what you're looking for. But what does a partner look like? And a partner, again, I have one writing partner who I've never met before. It's a friend of a friend who called to ask me a question about something. And next thing you know, we said, hey, let's be accountability partners for writing. So a partner can be somebody working on the same thing as you. It could be somebody working on something different than you. And I have another client who, again, is also an entrepreneur. And he said there were a couple things he needed to work on. One was sleep. His sleep was horrible. And then also having accountability for work and also accountability for exercise. So he has brought in partners for each of those things. So there's the nighttime partner where it's just a texting partner. Hey, just checking to see, have you turned everything off? Have you done your meditation? They text each other about whatever they have set up to do. Before sleep, they text each other in the morning. So that it's literally a text with somebody. The work one, he has it set up that there's a partner who he works with. And I don't know their exact time, but let's start at 9 o'clock and we're going to work from 9 to 10, consistently Monday through Friday. And they text each other back and forth. So it's really blocking off time for their work together. And then the last one is an exercise, and that's a group one, the same person. So I'm going to go back to that one in one moment. The one thing I want to point out with the partnership, there's a couple ways you can do it. One way is you can have it be really structured, where you set goals for yourselves and accountability around what you're going to do. You can also just block it as time. That's one of the things that I think we are missing the most in an unstructured day when we're at home more, is just blocking off time where it's focused dedication. And that can happen by Zooming with somebody and saying, hey, let's Zoom and pop online and we're each going to work on whatever we're working on. And and that has no structure to it, but it does have a time block.
I love that you say that, because sometimes we do want to reach out to somebody else, like that sleep texting partner. And sometimes we want to just give ourselves the accountability with ourselves, whether it's by blocking it on the calendar or doing that, blocking it and having someone on the other side of a video, but not working together. Almost kids do this at small ages. They do parallel play.
Yes,
so I guess do parallel work. That's great. So you're giving us two options. One is with a person checking in, and the other is checking in with yourself, with your calendar, that you've blocked the time. Not just that you put in 15 minutes between two meetings, but that you've actually blocked that time.
Exactly. And then that leads us to the group one. And it's funny, something you just said reminded me of this client who he said, I want to start doing yoga, which I've been doing at home, but I realize I need to get out and see the world. And so I want to get myself to walk to a park regularly and do the yoga. And on our call, he was thinking, how am I going to commit to doing that? And then he came up with the idea, I'll text some friends and say every, Tuesday, Thursday, I'll be at this park from 2 to 3 doing yoga. Anyone can join me. So even if nobody joins me, joins him, he feels accountable. And I love that. Boom.
Really
right
true. Yeah.
So
yeah, it's sort of like, I don't even care. I'm cool enough and confident enough. I'm going to go and do my yoga.
That's exactly it. But if I don't show up, that's awkward because I've just told everyone I'll be there. So that's the accountability, whether or not anybody else shows. So it's kind of putting it out publicly. So, and that helps a lot with when you're trying to do self-accountability, is being public about what you're going to do. So that's another perk. So then with a group, and I have a couple of these going right now. I know, Senya, you have some masterminds that you do. I have a group work session every Monday morning. We all come, we share, this is our intention for this time period. It used to be a 1-hour session, but it was so effective, we didn't want to stop. So it's now a 2-hour session every single Monday morning. For my time, it's 9 to 11, which is great. It really kicks off my week. We commit to what we're each working on. We're all working on different things. And then we regroup at the end to share our successes or our challenges. So that's what a working group session looks like in my world. And then I have specific writing sessions. I have one right after today that I meet with 2 other people where we each write virtually. And then lastly, I have a group session for myself, an exercise one every Saturday morning. If you have a Peloton, you could do it with Peloton, but it could be anything. You could walk, run, what have you. We Peloton, we all pick a ride together. We get on at 7:30 a.m. Saturday morning, and we have Zoom coffee after. That's my hot flame, that carrot. It's like I get to see everybody after. So this gives you a sense. So it's not just something I think this would be good for people to do. I do it myself because it has shifted completely what I accomplish by having that accountability. And there's a couple things with it that I love. It boosts productivity, the efficiency and focus, but more importantly for me, it's fun. And I like things that are fun. So
that's so nice to hear that, it's because the point of accountability is to get things done and be disciplined and be productive. But your conclusion is, hey, it's actually fun to do this with self, with partner, or with group. Yeah. What's an example for you, Ilene? Whether it's during coronavirus or before, what's one example where you because you're a high achievement person, you're a high accountability person anyway. But where was it that you implemented one of these steps and it actually changed something for you?
You know what? I'm going to give you my most recent one, which was really fantastic. For my Monday morning group, it ended up just being me and Alex, who's one of our fellow coaches. And I said to him, I have this exam I need to take. I am dreading studying for it. I'm not an exam taker, not my strong suit at all. I said, I am committing to studying for this during this time period. I am committing to taking the exam on Friday, and I want you to know that. And I'm going to get this out of my head and off my list. And Alex said, all right, do it. And he had his own things he was working on. We come back after the call. I said, I studied and this is the date. He said, great, I'm going to text you. I said, perfect, have at it. I got off the call, and then my daughter, who's studying for the ACTs for college, she had to do a practice test. And I thought, you know what? I've just studied for this. I've already committed to Friday. She's going to be taking a test for 3 hours. I should take my test for 3 hours and be done with this. So sure enough, I took it, passed. I texted Alex right after. I'm like, take that off your list. I'm done. So that was my most recent, and it was a game changer for me. It was something that I really wanted on my game changer list. And if anyone hasn't watched that video, I encourage you to do it, because we still have time in 2020 to make it the best year possible. But this was one of those top things for me. And it's like, check that box, done.
What a cool example. And also, Ilene, cool example, because here you were using, here, I'm going to put up the words that you were using. You were using your group accountability, your 2-hour time. You did something in that time. Then you were going to, Alex offered that he would be your partner on Friday to text you, which is also a little bit like that carrot. Here's my friend texting me, checking in on me. And then you also did this little bit of a boost. Hey, someone in my family is about to sit down and do it. I just have this content in my head. I just studied. So it's sort of, it's almost like an amalgamation of a few of these techniques that you've been telling us about.
Absolutely. And it just kind of, yes, you're absolutely right. It just all came together, and I thought, just do it. So
it's so funny. I'm going to ask the people who are with us in our audience a question, and at the same time that I'll also ask you to summarize each of these three, just so we have them fresh in our head, each of these three methods. For all of you who are with us today, what is your takeaway so far? And get ready to ask Ilene some questions, but what is your takeaway so far of something that you're going to do? It could be from a thought you had, but what's an actual action? And it might be one of the three that Ilene is going to summarize for us right now. So let us know, and we'll read off some of these examples, because we learn best through experimentation and examples. So let us know where you may turn up the accountability dial for yourself. So Ilene, turning it over to you, would you please give us a summary of all three of these, and I'll put the term on the screen.
Absolutely. So the self is making sure that if you want to be your own accountability partner, what is going to be that carrot? What is going to light that flame higher? So you've got to have a carrot or a really strong fire to make sure that you're going to want to do this. So that's self-accountability, and also make it public. That puts that fire. My gosh, I wasn't going to not do the test if Alex didn't, if I didn't tell Alex. Once I told Alex, it's like, I better do this. So that's number one. Number two is the partner. And the partner can be in the form of a paid coach who will definitely help you with accountability. It also can be a friend. It can be a spouse. It can be a child. I've had clients bring in their kids for accountability partners. One client, actually, exercise was really tough. Her work is so overwhelming, so full and demanding. And so but her health has plummeted. And she said, I need to prioritize this. And I said, well, what's going to allow you to do that? And she said, I need to do it. I need to work out at 5 a.m. And I said, well, that's great. And how are you going to make that happen? And she said, well, I got to do it before the kids wake up. And I said, well, how can you use them as part of this plan? And so what she ultimately did is she was had them ask her first thing when they woke up in the morning, how was your workout? That's a pretty strong flame. Your kids are asking you, and you don't want to say, "Oh, I didn't." I got on a client call. No, you're not going to do that. So instead, that's a ton of accountability. So that's a partner. And then the last one is group. So the group accountability, and it can look like a group of people who you know, love, and respect, or it could be a group of people you don't know and you want to come together. I would not recommend having too large of a group. I think 6 or fewer is ideal because it can really, you almost lose accountability. Accountability goes into anonymity, and you don't want that to happen where you feel like no one will know if you're not there, or you want to be accountable to your group. And so 6 or fewer is good.
Yeah, nice point on the number. That makes a lot of sense. All right, so here's what somebody is doing. Somebody is saying that they're going to block time. One of the ways that they're going to take your advice on accountability is to block time. Sure. So that makes a lot of sense. Ilene, one of the things that I love to know when a coach comes and says, here's a tool that I know has been working, try the self, try the partner, try the group accountability. How did you come to this conclusion?
Yeah, great question. I think, honestly, I was noticing for clients who were having some challenges they come back to me and say, well, I got some of it done. I didn't get all this done, and it was some of the same thing over and over again. So we end up talking about accountability. What does accountability look like for you? What accountability, and I want to back up for a minute. We often, and this is not what this session is for, but it's an important point. We often set goals or intentions around things we're not that interested in. So that is always the first step, is make sure you want this. You gotta really want this. And so these are people who I was working with who really wanted whatever they were going for. However, life happens. And so that's when I started thinking, we've got to up the accountability, because I hear that you want it. It's really important to you. We've talked about the why, what's below that you want so deeply that you have to have. So let's try this piece. And this missing piece, they obviously have accountability with me, but adding it with themselves is huge. And then with these other pieces. And then I started doing it for myself. I thought, okay, I've had this hanging over my head and I say I want it, but why am I not moving forward? So as coaches, when we start applying what we talk about and we see results, it's like, oh yeah, we need to do this.
Let's conclude with the 2 questions. One's going to be about thoughts and one's about actions. What is a concluding thought that you have for people who are with us today?
A concluding thought is that you are more than capable of reaching whatever goal you set out for yourself. And it's not about capability. It's truly about, we have really full, demanding, and often stressful lives, particularly right now. And so if this is something, or you have something that you really want in life, and it might be multiple things, it could be anything from health to work to a creative goal. And if it's something that you truly do want, consider figuring out how to integrate accountability. And I promise you, it's going to be a game changer.
I like that. It's a game changer. And then Ilene, on the topic of accountability, if you could snap your fingers and have almost everybody in the world do something, what would that thing be?
That thing would be to, and I'm going to actually put it into even a more concrete, I love that question, and I'm going to put it into a more concrete answer for whoever's watching this in this moment. Right now, grab your pen, grab a piece of paper, and write down 5 names of people who you respect, admire, trust, and think about how those 5 people can help you move forward in whatever you are stuck on and you have not progressed with. 5 names right now. That's a concrete thing. And I bet you minimally one of those 5 people will help you get unstuck, and you probably can leverage all 5 of them.
Awesome. Ilene Schaffer speaking with us today about accountability. Thank you so much, Ilene. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you everyone for joining us. Can't wait. And I'll be here on Friday. So look forward to seeing you.
We're doing specifically on Friday, we're doing a group session. It's going to be Ilene, Kelly, Alex, and I talking about what questions do coaches ask themselves. Dun, 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 dun.
And Alex is my accountability partner for what I talked about. So you'll get to meet Alex.
That's right. Thank you, everyone. See you every day at 11 a.m. All the best.
Thank you.